Have you ever stood in the grocery store staring at 2 egg cartons, one brown, one white, and thought, brown eggs look healthier, right? Now, or maybe you've paid extra for brown eggs because someone told you they're organic or farm fresh. Well, brace yourself, because by the end of this video, you might question everything you thought you knew about eggs. We're not just cracking eggs today, we're cracking myths. We'll uncover why some eggs are brown, others white, and even green or blue. We'll find out whether brown eggs are really better for you, and the surprising reason they cost more. Stick around, because what looks like a simple color difference is actually a story that goes deep. Genetics, farming, nutrition, even marketing psychology. And the most shocking part? You've probably been tricked without realizing it. All right, let's start with the question that's been dividing breakfast tables for decades. What's really the difference between brown and white eggs? If you Google it, you'll see the same line everywhere. Brown eggs come from brown hens, white eggs come from white hens. And yes, that's technically true, but that's like saying cars are different because some are red and some are blue. There's a much bigger story hiding underneath the shell. The real reason, breed genetics explained with humor and engagement. Here's the fun part. An egg shell color comes down to the breed of the chicken. For example, white feathered hens with white earlobes, yep, chickens have earlobes, like the Leghorn breed, lay white eggs. Brown feathered hens with red earlobes, like Rhode Island Reds or Plymouth Rocks, lay brown eggs. But here's where it gets even cooler. Some breeds like the Araucana or Amaraucana lay blue eggs, and others like the Olive Egger lay green eggs, literally pastel shades that look straight out of an Easter basket. So next time you see a blue or green egg online, it's not painted, it's 100% natural. But wait, don't click away yet thinking, okay, so it's just breed difference, got it. Because that's only the surface of the story. There's a lot more your egg carton isn't telling you, and that's where the myths begin. Myth number 1, brown eggs are healthier. One of the biggest misconceptions ever hatched. People think brown eggs are healthier, more natural, more nutritious, more farm to table. So let's bust that right now. According to multiple studies, including ones from the USDA and universities like Penn State, the nutritional difference between brown and white eggs is practically zero. Both have about 6 to 7 grams of protein, 70 calories, 5 grams of fat, cholesterol levels in the same range, and nearly identical vitamin and mineral profiles. If you blindfolded a nutritionist and gave them both, they couldn't tell the difference. So why does this myth even exist? Because of perception. White eggs became associated with factory farming and big box stores, while brown eggs were marketed as natural and local. And that's where the psychology of color marketing kicked in. Think about it. Brown bread, brown rice, brown sugar, we've been taught those are whole or healthy versions of their white counterparts. So naturally, people assume the same applies to eggs. But in reality, a brown egg is only brown on the outside. Inside, it's the exact same golden yolk and clear egg white. The brown pigment comes from a compound called protoporphyrin 9, a natural pigment deposited on the shell in the hen's uterus right before the egg is laid. It's like nature's paint job, nothing more. So next time someone says brown eggs are healthier, you can just smile and say, nope, it's just the chicken's paint preference. Myth number 2, brown eggs taste better. Now, this one is tricky because some people swear brown eggs taste richer, creamier, or fresher. So what's going on? Here's the truth. Taste differences don't come from shell color. They come from what the hen eats and how she's raised. For example, a hen that eats more greens, grains, and insects, like those raised outdoors, will lay eggs with darker yolks and sometimes a richer flavor. Meanwhile, a factory-raised hen on a corn-soy diet lays eggs with paler yolks and a milder taste. So yes, the taste can differ, but it's because of the hen's lifestyle, not her feather color. It's like comparing coffee made with beans from different farms. Same species, different flavor because of how they're grown. Myth number 3. Brown eggs cost more because they're better. Ever noticed how brown eggs are usually pricier? It's not because they're healthier or organic, it's because the hens that lay them eat more. Brown egg laying breeds are generally larger and need more feed, so farmers spend more money raising them, and that cost gets passed on to you. It's that simple. So when you're paying more for brown eggs, you're not paying for better eggs, you're paying for a hungrier chicken. But here's where it gets clever. Marketers realize that people associate higher price with higher quality. So even when the difference in cost isn't huge, stores keep brown eggs priced slightly higher, and consumers feel like they're buying the premium option. Psychology 101. If it costs more, it must be better. The blue and green egg twist. Why they're special but still the same inside. Remember those blue and green eggs we mentioned earlier? They're laid by special breeds like Araucanas and Easter eggers. The blue comes from a pigment called biliverdin, the same compound that gives bruises their blue-green color. But here's the interesting part. In brown eggs, the color pigment coats the outside of the shell. In blue eggs, the color is actually part of the shell itself. It runs all the way through. That's why if you crack a brown egg, the inside is white. But if you crack a blue one, even the inside looks bluish. Still, nutritionally, same deal. It's just another natural quirk of genetics. So yes, those trendy blue eggs you see on Instagram are cool, but they won't make you healthier or turn you into a better brunch chef. Myth number 4. Organic equals brown. Another common mix-up, people often think brown eggs are organic, but organic has nothing to do with color. Organic only means the hens were raised on certified organic feed and weren't given synthetic pesticides or antibiotics. You can have white organic eggs and brown non-organic eggs. The color is irrelevant. It's the farming practices that matter. And if we're being honest, some small-scale farmers prefer brown egg-laying hens because they look rustic and farmy. That's part of why the myth stuck around. Visuals sell. Why yolk color varies, the hidden clue to diet. Let's talk about yolks, because people often assume darker yolks mean healthier eggs. Here's the scoop. Yolk color comes mostly from carotenoids, the same pigments that give carrots and corn their orange hue. If a hen eats lots of plants, greens, or marigold petals, yes, that's a real thing, her yolks get darker. If she's fed a diet low in those pigments, the yolks turn pale yellow. But again, the difference in vitamins is minor. So yes, darker yolks might look more appealing, but they don't necessarily mean the egg is packed with more nutrients. The weird marketing truth, how brown became better. Here's where it gets fascinating. Back in the 1970s and 80s, white eggs dominated US supermarkets. They were cheaper to produce, and commercial farms loved the efficient white-feathered leghorn hens. But as health food culture rose in the 1990s, small farmers needed a way to stand out, so they started emphasizing their brown egg breeds and framed them as farm fresh and natural. It worked brilliantly. Brown eggs looked different, felt artisanal, and tapped into our subconscious bias that earth tones equals wholesome. So the modern myth was born, not by science, but by smart marketing. Bonus truth, the shell strength debate. You've probably heard someone say, brown eggs have thicker shells. Technically, shell thickness depends on the hen's age and diet, not her color. Younger hens lay thicker shelled eggs. Older hens lay thinner ones. So if your brown eggs feel sturdier, that's coincidence. You probably just bought from younger hens or a different supplier. What actually makes an egg better? The real factors. If shell color doesn't matter, then what does? Here's what actually makes one egg better than another: hen's diet. The biggest factor in nutritional value. Pasture-raised hens that eat bugs, grass, and seeds produce eggs with higher omega-3 and vitamin D levels. Hen's lifestyle. Stress affects egg quality. Happier, free-roaming hens lay better quality eggs. Freshness. The fresher the egg, the firmer the white and rounder the yolk. Storage. How the eggs are handled and stored also affects taste and safety. So when you're buying eggs, ignore the color. Look for pasture-raised or organic instead if you care about nutrition. Fun facts that'll blow your mind mid-video. Chickens have been laying colored eggs long before humans even farmed them. The pigment for brown eggs comes at the very end of the laying process. Sometimes hens are interrupted mid-lay and the bottom half of the egg comes out lighter. If you gently wash a fresh egg from a farm, you might see some of the brown pigment rub off. Proving it's just a surface layer, every hen lays eggs of the same color her entire life. No switching from brown to white halfway through. Myth number 5, cage-free or free range means healthier eggs. Another term that sounds amazing but can be misleading: cage-free. In reality, cage-free just means the hens aren't kept in tiny cages, but they could still be packed tightly in a barn with no outdoor access. Free range is slightly better. The hens get some outdoor time, but it still varies massively by farm. So again, shell color isn't the indicator of quality. Labels and lifestyle are. Cultural perceptions around the world. Here's an interesting twist. In the US, white eggs dominate supermarket shelves, but in the UK, Japan, and many parts of Europe, brown eggs are the default. In fact, in Japan, white eggs are often considered too plain, and brown ones are marketed as premium. While in the US, for decades, white meant clean and pure. It's all cultural. A perfect example of how perception shapes value. The science of the shell. Inside the egg factory. If you love a bit of biology, here's a quick rundown of how shell color forms. As an egg travels through the hen's oviduct, a process that takes around 25 hours, the shell is formed layer by layer from calcium carbonate. In the final hour, pigments are deposited. Protoporphyrin 9 for brown eggs, biliverdin for blue eggs. It's like nature spray painting the egg just before launch. And in some cases, the pigment isn't evenly applied. That's why you see speckles or lighter patches. The farm fresh. Illusion. Are brown eggs really fresher? Brown eggs often come from smaller farms, so they might reach stores faster. But that's coincidence, not a rule. If a white egg producer is local and sells fast, those eggs can be even fresher. So freshness depends on distribution, not color. Let's bust a final myth. Eggshell color affects the chick. People sometimes think brown eggs hatch brown chicks. Nope, chick color depends on genetics, not shell color. A white egg can hatch a brown chick, and a brown egg can hatch a white one, depending on the rooster's genes. The egg's outer color is just the packaging. The ultimate truth, what you should actually care about. So, after all this cracking, here's the takeaway. The color of an egg tells you about the hen's breed, nothing more. Brown, white, blue, green, they're all the same inside. Nutrition, taste, and freshness depend on diet, lifestyle, and how you handle them, not the color of the shell. So if you like brown eggs, great. If you prefer white ones, also great. Just don't let color fool you into paying more unless the label or source truly justifies it. Next time you're in the grocery store, look at those cartons differently. Now you know the real story, the science, the psychology, and the marketing behind your breakfast. Whether your eggs are brown, white, or blue, the truth is simple. It's not what's on the shell that counts, it's what's inside that matters. So go crack some eggs, make that perfect omelet, and smile, knowing you're officially smarter than 90% of people in the egg aisle. And if you found this eye-opening, please hit that subscribe button. We're on a mission to reach our first 1,000 subscribers so we can keep uncovering the food secrets restaurants don't want you to know. Your support helps us bring you the truth about what you're really eating.